Alright. Oh, I really don't want to do this one, but you all really, really, really want me to do it. So, it's here, and you all see the title of the video, so you all know this is the Sith Lord ramblings on Darth Bane himself. Now, the reason I don't want to do this one is because, okay, it's been quite a while since I've read all three of the Bane books, and sadly I could not get a hold of them. I was supposed to, didn't happen, and I really don't feel like going through the hardships of trying to find some readable copies on the internet, if you know what I mean. And besides, when it comes to Darth Bane books, I feel like, I should be able to, crap out some money for those books, because, I mean, come on, they're good books. That being said, I couldn't, and so I'm going to go off some memory here. I'm really, really, really gonna have a bad day trying to remember number 3. Number 1 and number 2, a little more clear in my head. 3, it's been for fucking ever, so a lot of info's kind of gonna be maybe Wikipedia dump, like, kind of just basic shit you should know about him. And quite frankly, if I don't do a good enough job of explaining some of his historical deeds, then just go there and read up on him. Here's the funny thing about my ramblings. They were never meant to be like a historical thing. I put a lot of probably unnecessary time into recounting the history of these Sith Lords. Like, that's why my Exar Kun video is so long, just because I go on and on about his stupid history. And, jeez, that's like my second video I ever made. I should probably remake it, honestly, one of these days. And I have, like, 10, 15 minutes where I actually talk about just reasons why I like him and certain aspects of his personality and whatnot. So Bane's video, I feel like, is going to be more of a legit ramblings, more of an overall just view of how I feel about the character, more than a historical one. I mean, I'll give you some pieces, obviously, but to be fair, if you don't know much about Darth Bane, Legends Bane, not this Fire Nation fucking ripoff I'm going to show, but the real Darth Bane, Legends Bane. If you don't know much about him and you're just coming here for kind of basic information, first of all, I'm sure there are better YouTubers than me who've already given A++ fucking recountings of his history and deeds. But you should definitely read the books. All 3 of the Bane trilogy books are considered like primo extended universe fucking Star Wars material, okay? And quite frankly, when I saw what Clone Wars did to Darth Bane, that was just like the biggest fuck you that cartoon series ever gave. Because first of all, there are records and animation pics of the actual Darth Bane we know about with his fucking armor. God, I already forgot what the name of his armor beetle shit is. What is it? Obelisks. Yeah. There were already pictures of his Obelisk armor character model for the show, and for whatever fucked up reason they decided not to use it. No, to make a new Bane, which is the canonical Bane, which, quite frankly, if you listen to what the stupid shit he spouts off in the show sounds like, they make him out to be some sort of, like, emperor, or some sort of, like, leader of a wider Sith empire, or something of the like. I mean, you could interpret it that he's just spouting off, well, I remade the Sith, whatever, but come on. It's quite obvious that they had a whole different idea for what Darth Bane really was. Nah, fuck all that book shit. I mean, all the fans really enjoy those books, and they've received AAA ratings from basically every Star Wars nerd out there. Fuck that character. That character's dumb. Let's replace it with the Fire Nation, because, Avatar? I don't know. That's what he looks like. You can't tell me he doesn't look like one. Okay. So, like I said, I'm going to try and make this a little shorter. And here's the thing, too, why I don't want to do this video. It's not because I don't like Darth Bane. I think Darth Bane is probably, he's probably, like, in my top 5 Sith characters. I'm not going to say he's, like, top 3, because I have stupid favorite Sith choices. I mean, everyone knows my favorite Sith is Exar Kun. And then after that would probably come Vader, maybe. See, it'd take me a while because I know so many of them, and they're just like all clustered together as cool characters. I mean, like, what's bottom of the barrel? Fucking, I don't know, Darth Bandon. Okay, I know some few people have asked for a Darth Bandon rambling, and I'll try and fix one up one of these days. But seriously, what is there to say about this bald-headed, goateed idiot? What is he? What's his story? that he's Malik's fuckboy? I mean, okay, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Okay, no, I will make one on Bandon in the future. It'll probably be really short, though. I'm just putting that out there. But the reason why Bane is difficult is because, for instance, with Revan, you can say you love Revan or hate Revan, and you're gonna get people on both sides. And you can be historically inaccurate with Revan, and people won't care as much. They'll be like, "Well, that was wrong. You're stupid. Whatever." But with Darth Bane, he's like on such another tier, another level of awesomeness within the Star Wars community, that if you get historical dates wrong, if you get story facts wrong, if you get kind of anything wrong with Bane, or if you talk shit about him, the fandom will most likely jump down your throat and kill you. And that's why I don't want to do this without having reread the books, is because I feel like I'm going to be very inaccurate at times, or I'm going to skim over shit people really want me to delve into, and I can't, because I didn't get a hold of the books again, and I'm not going to, first of all, go the extra mile and maybe fuck up my computer looking for copies on the internet that are not necessarily legal. But I think it's unfair to the books, because those books deserve to make some money. I mean, come on. LucasArts under Disney are trying to fuck every content creator of the old Legends EU out of money. That's why they're remaking all these characters. That's why they're making new characters that basically substitute the old characters, because all characters created under their license, under the new Disney platform, do not cost as much money, because they're going to sign different contracts, different types of deals with content creators, whereas the old LucasArts and all the old Lucas, creators, they still should get the money that they should get for making the characters and situations and stories that they did, but Disney and the new LucasArts platform doesn't want to give those people any money. That's why Thrawn will never show up, at least in the interpretation that we know him. That's why the Yuuzhan Vong will never show up, because then they'd have to pay James Luceno and all those authors money that came up with the NJO books. So, I mean, I'm not going to go there again. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about Episode 7. I'm not going to talk about the new film coming out. I don't care, okay? I've come to that point again where I don't care anymore. You enjoy it, good for you. I'm sorry that I cannot find it within me to give one shit about the new canon Star Wars universe, okay? I can't. I accept that it's a thing. I accept I'm a person who is like stuck in the past perpetually, where episodes 1 through 6 exist, the Legends Extended Universe, that's it. That's it for me. I'm done. So, that's where I stand on that. Will I make quick references or make fun of them just really quickly? Yeah, that's my platform, but I'm not going to make this long rambling on why I hate Disney and the new Star Wars 10.0, because God knows I made enough videos of those. Okay. So I suppose you all want me to get started with Bane, really. Okay. So we all know Bane is a Sith'ari, right? The prophesized, or supposedly prophesized, I don't know if it's like, who the fuck prophesized the Sith'ari? I don't know. But the Sith'ari basically is a prophecy amongst the Sith, or a telling amongst the Sith, that a Sith Lord would rise, break the foundations of the Sith, and remake them and make them stronger than ever. Which he did. Because Darth Bane, who was born Dessel on Apatros to a shitty fucking situation, would rise up through the Brotherhood of Darkness, which is a really, really lame Sith order if you look at them. I don't want to get into it, but basically Bane has a very good argument for why the Brotherhood of Darkness doesn't work, because basically they're just a bastardized version of the Jedi Order. And that's fine. If you want to create a dark Jedi Order to oppose the Jedi Order and not a Sith Order, then do it. That would make for an interesting story, but the fact that they wanted to try and, or at least Lord Khan, wanted to try and change the Sith philosophy overall and the way that they functioned from a tiered kind of imperial order and, you know, meritocracy where you kind of proved how strong you were, and if you were the strongest, you basically ruled. And he turned it into kind of a bastardized Jedi Order. Oh no, don't worry, we're all equal. We're all Dark Lords. I just happen to be the best Dark Lord. I mean, he's kind of a hypocrite in that sense, but the Brotherhood of Darkness just really didn't work. It was like pumping out Dark Jedi and Sith. I call them Dark Jedi and Sith because they're kind of not really Sith. They're kind of more Dark Jedi, but you can argue with me, whatever. They were just pumping out these Dark Jedi and these Sith every single day because they wanted to fucking kill the Jedi. And they're like, look, if you can hold a lightsaber, if you have dark inclinations, just come to the freaking Academy on Korriban or anywhere else, and we'll teach you how to become a dark side user, and you'll be given Dark Lord status at some point. Don't worry about it. Or Sith Lord status, maybe not. Maybe Dark Lord was kind of reserved for Khan. Sith Lord, everyone was a fucking Sith Lord, okay? And Bane recognized this after, he studied a lot more of the dark side and the history of the Sith, and became disillusioned with the whole notion of a bastardized kind of Lord Khan's version of the Sith Order, and came to the conclusion that, frankly, the Sith of old had a much better idea on what the Sith were, and Lord Khan was... I don't know if I'm going to say, like, undermining. I just think he had a different interpretation of how to run the Sith, and it just wasn't really jiving with what we knew and what everyone knows the Sith to be. And that's a fair point. Like, you could go into depth on Lord Khan's ideas on the Sith and how he has a point. He has some good positions about him, but it really doesn't work within the context of what the Sith are supposed to be and what they were before. So Bane was born Dessel on Apatros to a shitty father because he blamed him for the death of his wife, Bane's mother, who died during childbirth. Because of course she did, and of course his father's an asshole. And you know what gets to me about these stories about, the father blames the child for the death of the mother? It's like, okay, so you're telling me he wasn't a shitlord and a piece of ass when the mother was alive, but just because she died, the father is just this complete and utter dickhead? Come on, you can't tell me that Bane's father wasn't a piece of shit before the wife died, and he just, became a bigger piece of shit. But anyway, born on Apatros, mining-type colony, almost slave system. Just, you really do not get to do shit on Apatros. And Bane, became really, really, pale because he was a miner, and he kind of looked sickly. I don't think he had hair. I don't think he ever really had hair because of the Apatros mining system, but whatever. Everyone around him treated him like shit because, I don't know, everyone on Apatros seemed to really like his dad for some ungodly reason. And basically, one thing leads to another. His father calls him the bane of his existence, and that's where he gets the idea to call himself Darth Bane in the future. And he constantly beats him up, attacks him, treats him like shit. And one day, after a really bad fight with his dad, in which he lost, I believe, Bane dreams of his father's heart and him wrapping his hand around it and making it stop. Which he wakes up and finds his dad's dead, and basically he doesn't know it, but he used the Force to kill him in his sleep. So that's a level of fuck right there, to be able to kill someone in your sleep without even actively knowing about it. I guess passively knowing about it would be the right terminology.
So, after that, and some incidents where basically people in the mine try to beat up on him, and he ends up beating the shit out of them, or at least holding his own, he proves to the other miners to leave him alone. It's weird because, everyone hates him because they think he has something to do with his dad's death, which we all know he does, but how the fuck do they know? They're just crazy miners, apparently. Blah, blah, blah. His early life is interesting. But, I mean, honestly, like, his little rivalry with his dad's old friend is just a little like, okay, really? You're so angry with this guy's son that you're going to try and kill him or whatever because his dad died of what apparently seems to be heart failure or whatever. Like, it's one of those situations where you feel like the guy's life is shit just because the story calls for his life to be shit, but it's done well enough. So, on Apatros, he ends up going to a bar or canteen or whatever you want to call it, and he plays some sabacc games. I believe it's sabacc. Yeah, I think it's sabacc. Let me check really quickly to make sure it's sabacc so I don't sound like the biggest asshole. Yeah, that's sabacc. And Republic soldiers come in there to pick up some of the mine, Cortosis, I believe, end up playing with him, and he begins fucking them out of their money in the credits. And him and this one officer end up in a... what is it? Idiot's Hand, I think? Idiot's Array. And basically, they've gone into a corner where whoever draws the highest card wins. And he ends up drawing the highest card. Republic officers get pissed. He and them are almost gonna fight. Republic soldiers and him get broken up, and Republic soldiers leave. Bane stays there for a while. Then he leaves. He gets jumped, but I think he kills either one or two of the three officers who try and jump him from the bar because, you know, they're just pissed off. I believe the book also says that he's basically using the Force to channel and feed on their aggression and make them more angry and make them more flustered, so it's kind of his fault, but unintentionally his fault, really, because of the Force. And what happens is that he goes back to the bar because he's a friend with the bartender there, who I think is a Nemoidian, I think. And basically he smuggles him off of Apatros because the Republic's going to come for him, even though... because, of course, the Republic is going to blame a minor for killing a bunch of officers that jumped him, because that makes a lot of sense. Because the Republic are full of dickheads. And he smuggles him on a Rhodian ship off of Apatros and into Sith space to go join up with Brotherhood of Darkness, basically because his life is fucked. Bane joins up as a soldier, and he ends up in a unit called Gloom Walkers. I'm probably going to show the picture. And, you know, I think their suit design is actually pretty cool, personally. A lot better than the Sith infantry design for the Sith Empire of the Old Republic. I mean, it's not the worst armor I've ever seen in Star Wars, but it looks kind of goofy. That's just my opinion. I like this one better. And he becomes, I believe, a sergeant. Lieutenant? No, I think it's a sergeant. Nah, I'll let that one slide. And he proves himself to be a really good soldier, really capable of killing Republic soldiers and Republic infantry, because I guess he just doesn't really give a shit. I mean, to go from killing a Republic officer who's just a real dickhead to fleeing to an enemy army that's seeking to wipe out the Republic, kill all the Jedi, and take over his dictatorship is kind of like a major step to take, but hey, if it works for you, it works for you, I guess. So he has a real asshole commander named Ulabor, I believe is how you pronounce it, who takes all the credit for all of the Gloom Walkers' victories, which are all Bane's victories, you could say, not really his. And eventually, what planet do they end up on? I hate that I can't remember some of this shit. Battle of Fasira. Whatever. It's some planet I don't know very well. And basically, they mutiny against Ulawar because he wants to do something really stupid. Again, I don't remember the details all that well. He was going to make a tactical mistake. And anyway, Bane and them mutiny, they tie him up, they don't kill him. and they go and attack the Republic in the way that they know to be tactically sound. His team kind of gets blasted away by some flash grenades. I mean, they don't die, but they all go blinded. Except Dessel still at this point realizes he can see, even though he's blinded with the Force, and so he kills like a bunch of Republic soldiers while he's basically blind with the eyes. You know, kind of like Kreia in the Knights of the Old Republic 2, where she's like, well, I could repair my eyes if I wanted to, but I can still pretty much see with the Force anyways. It doesn't really matter. So I guess that's kind of like it's similar to that is what I'm trying to say. I'm sure you guys can tell this is not really, I don't have a script for this rambling. If it's going to be a true rambling, might as well go off the cuff. So they end up killing like a whole platoon or something of the Republic and saving the day, or I guess, I don't know, just winning, because, you know, they're Sith and don't really save the day. They go back to Ulabor. He's, I believe, free, and a Sith Lord has arrived, and he tells them that the mutinied... Oh, yeah, it was Kopex. Kopesh? Kopex? I don't know how you want to pronounce his name. And sensing the dark side of the Force inside of Dessel, he takes him with him to Korriban, and the Gloom Walkers just kind of remain as they are under dumbass Ulabor. I think Ulabor ends up dying, though. Like, I think he ends up dying, and it's like implied that he was killed like in friendly fire or something ridiculous like that. I think, anyways. I'm not sure. Oh no, he was killed. Oh yeah, he was ambushed and he was killed by the chicken. The chicken, Jesus Christ, the chick in the Gloom Walkers team, Lucia, who was like a friend slash officer beneath Bane. She comes back later, don't worry. And Ulabor gets shot when they're being surrounded by Republic soldiers in a trap, and might as well shoot him then. I mean, who the fuck cares? Guy's an asshole. Okay, so Bane ends up at the Sith Academy on Korriban. He initially wants to go and learn things from the archives and read up on the old Sith, but the Sith Lord's there. And I believe... Who is it? Who is it who tells him basically don't do that because it's a waste of time? I think it's Quartus. I think it's Quartus. Whatever, I think Quartus... Yeah, Quartus is the one who's an asshole. Whatever. So he's basically told that learning the old Sith ways is the past, and we shouldn't be stuck in the past. You should be here in the now, and you should really get up on your lightsaber training, which he does well, because he learns under Kasim, however you want to say that. And Kasim is basically like the weapons master of the academy. And Bane does very well. He learns how to use lightsaber very well, and he ends up trying to prove himself and go up against some of the better students there, like Faharg, who had beaten before. And Bane ends up killing him with a wave of dark side energy. And he also gets the attention of Zabrak Cyrak. And Cyrak ends up being a douche. Of course, because they're all Sith, and, you know, you can't be just a Sith without being a dickhead. So, you know, God, my memory is so bad with his training right now. Basically, what happens without being so specific on names is Bane tries to learn the old ways of the Sith. The Masters there tell him it's a waste of time because it's the old ways of the Sith, and the old ways don't matter anymore, which Bane doesn't really sit right with Bane. But he takes their instructions and he tries to become a better duelist. He ends up being okay, but he doesn't really like excel to like true greatness at this point yet, anyways. And he ends up killing a couple students. Blah 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 blah. Oh god, yeah. And then freaking what's her name ends up showing up. Githany, yeah. Githany shows up. She's a fallen Jedi. And they have kind of an attraction. Githany and him start having training sessions too on aspects of the Force. Because, well, she knows more about the Force, really, than he does. Some lightsaber training, I think, but she uses a light whip most of the time, so it's a little hard, I think, for him to really train against that right away. But she's a Lord Khan fangirl. She really, really likes Lord Khan and the Brotherhood of Darkness. She's also kind of weird. Just putting that out there, she's kind of weird. But she's obviously playing Bane because she wants to use him to excel herself. I think he knows that and he just doesn't really care. He's like, okay, well, I'll use you, you use me, who the hell cares? And basically what happens is Bane ends up at some point running off from the academy and going into the Valley of the Dark Lords because he wants to either talk to some of the old Dark Lord spirits or get some knowledge from the valley, because he begins to think that the ways of the Sith now are really just not right. They're broken and they need to be changed. And he finds no Sith Lords there, and he doesn't take this the same way that Plagueis ends up taking him not really seeing any Sith Lords in the Valley of the Dark Lords, because when Plagueis goes to the Valley of the Dark Lords and he doesn't see any spirits, Plagueis has a stupid atheistic approach to Force spirits. Okay, I'm not saying you can't be an atheist and like Star Wars. Okay, I'm not saying you can't be an atheist inside the Star Wars universe. But we know, the viewers of Star Wars, know Force spirits exist. Force spirits, Force ghosts, Force whatever. For us to read a character who is as smart and as powerful as Plagueis and to have him just throw away spirits even being a thing just because he never met one is stupid beyond reason. Because, come on, there is just so many accounts of Jedi and Sith encountering spirits, and you're just gonna be like, oh, they're all crazy. I didn't see one. That's just such a non. It doesn't sit well with me. I'm just putting that out there. I get it's part of Plagueis' mentality, but it doesn't sit well with me. Bane takes it as, well, they didn't show up because they find the Sith of today to be unworthy of showing up, so it must prove my point that the Sith of today are unworthy, and Khan places the Brotherhood of Darkness and himself above the dark side as a whole, which he thinks is wrong. He goes back to the academy. He's pretty beaten up from being out in the Valley of the Dark Lords and Korriban. He gets better. Cyrac ambushes him, egged on by Githany because she wants to team up with whoever wins. Bane ends up killing Cyrac, who begs for mercy, which he finds despicable. He kills him. Githany sides with him, but Bane's like, lady, I'm not even with this whole bullshit with the Academy anymore. I'm out of here. And he basically, when the Academy gets told that they've all been basically